Comes Richard Lewis, Melissa Etheridge, and Linda Fiorentino tonight on The Late Show with David Letterman. Thanks for watching CBS, now your local news.
Strong winds fan the flames of a 3-alarm fire in northeast Lincoln. A just-completed phone audit continues raising issues of effectiveness of the investigation. Beatrice students are keeping a positive attitude toward a new dress code. 10/11 News at 10 is next.
From KOLN Lincoln and KGIN Grand Island, this is 10/11 News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. A 3-alarm fire tonight in northeast Lincoln.
The blaze broke out at a mattress warehouse a little over an hour ago. Flames, fanned by brisk winds, quickly escalated the blaze, providing firefighters a stiff challenge. Dave Willey is on the scene. He joins us now live. Dave, is the fire under control?
Deb, the good news is the fire is under control. However, the bad news is the warehouse owned by the Havelock Furniture Company here in northeast Lincoln is pretty much a complete loss. The warehouse contains sofas, mattresses, appliances, just about everything that wasn't on the showroom floor was in that warehouse, and again, it's pretty much a complete loss. If we could go to some of the video shot earlier here on the scene here in northeast Lincoln. The building is owned, like I said, by the Havelock Furniture Company, which is owned by the Everson family. This particular building is about 5 years old, and the Everson family has been in business up here in northeast Lincoln for about 30 years. Sue Cover, who's a member of the family, an employee, came out of work and said she saw flames coming out of the roof at about 8:40 this evening. She said her son and another worker had just checked the place at about 8:20 or so, and it was fine. However, when Sue came out of work about 20 minutes later, that's when she saw the flames. Now, the good news is no one was hurt in the blaze. The family says they have no idea how much merchandise was lost, but they said shipments for the Christmas season had been coming in, so they think it was probably quite a bit. No word from firefighters yet on what could have caused the fire. They're still busy trying to put out the remaining flames. One thing is for sure, this whole warehouse was gutted and it collapsed within about 25 or 30 minutes. As you said a minute ago, Deb, it's a windy night out here. That certainly helped fan the flames. But to repeat, no one was hurt tonight when the warehouse owned by the Havelock Furniture Company here in northeast Lincoln was destroyed. It's a family-owned business. They've been in business here about 30 years up in northeast Lincoln. This particular warehouse was about 5 years old, but no one was hurt, although certainly a heartbroken family tonight, which has lost a large portion of their business.
A big cleanup ahead, Dave. Thank you very much. Mel?
State Auditor John Breslow has found no abuses in the legislature's phone records. According to his report, state leaders made $59,000 in calls from 1989 to 1991. The audit itself cost $40,000. Now, the senators call that a waste of money. John Vanderford reports the controversy continues over the issue of legislative phone records.
2 years of fighting over copies of phone records has come to an end. Some say there's little to show for a $40,000 state audit.
I feel like we went in for a checkup and the doctor was saying, boy, you are sick. You are really sick. And after the doctor got done, he was hoping to find, somebody who was terminally ill or needed major surgery. And what they found was that basically we got a clean bill of health.
State Auditor John Breslow says the report highlights the need to cut costs. A judge's ruling allowed senators to black out phone calls or designate them confidential. And State Auditor John Breslow says that kept his hands tied when doing the legislative audit.
Senator Chambers blacked out, I think, 109. Former Senator Lauren Schmidt blacked out 400 and some. And Rex Haberman, blacked out more than 1,000, and I think that's unreasonable.
Senators say keeping some calls confidential is very important to constituents. Ernie Chambers calls the audit much ado about nothing.
To this, I think it was a political maneuver. It was designed to get headlines because the auditor has run unopposed, so there's no other way for him to get headlines. Doing audits is not sexy work.
Breslow does have suggestions. He says a policy should prohibit personal long-distance calls. The length of legislative calls should be reviewed, and a log should be kept of all long-distance calls made. Breslow says Nebraskans should appreciate the audit.
Hopefully they'll read it and see what it's all about and see that they have a state auditor who's tenacious enough to take on anybody.
Breslow says senators should take his report seriously. He plans another audit within the next 9 months. John Vanderford, 10/11 News.
The battle over term limits in Nebraska may once again end up in the state Supreme Court. Term limit opponents today filed an appeal with the state's high court following a refusal by Lancaster District Judge Paul Merritt to grant a second trial. Merritt rejected the request because the U.S. Supreme Court is expected to decide a similar question in an Arkansas case later this month.
It failed in 1991, again in May of this year, and yesterday brought strike 3 for a Beatrice school bond issue. The $13.5 million bond failed by about 560 votes. It was to finance a new high school. Opponents say they don't consider it a win, rather a waste of a lot of time and money. School officials say the third rejection means they'll have to look at alternatives like varied schedules to split the student body or renting space. Student council members say they're disappointed, but they plan to maintain a positive attitude about their education. A positive environment is the goal Beatrice school officials say is behind a new dress code for students. Gang-related clothing is no longer allowed. Students can't wear bandanas, colored handkerchiefs, or pants that sag below the waist. Cellular phones and beepers are also banned. The principal says he doesn't believe they have student gang members, but some kids are what he describes as wannabes. They want to look like gang members.
Okay. What we thought we would do is take a proactive stance as far as dealing with these students and saying, hey, this is not the type of activity that we want at Beatrice Senior High School, and get it stopped before it gets started.
If students are caught wearing the restricted clothing, they'll be asked to leave until a conference can be called with their parents.
2 Nebraska power companies are battling over the use of transmission lines. The Municipal Energy Agency of Nebraska, or MEAN, wants the Nebraska Public Power District to stop what MEAN claims are discriminatory practices. MEAN claims NPPD isn't providing its service comparable to other NPPD customers. NPPD officials say that's not the case, and that MEAN's motives go deeper than just use of transmission lines.
Clearly, all MEAN is trying to do with this process is shift cost to rural Nebraska and non-MEAN customers.
MEAN officials say they will pay for the use of the lines. They claim NPPD is abusing the public trust in denying MEAN essential service.
We are a public state. Those transmission lines are not owned by NPPD. They're owned by the citizens of the state. They're paid for by the citizens of the state. NPPD is a trustee for the citizens of the state.
Wacker says his company will bring in the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to settle this dispute if needed. Both he and Watkins say they hope that won't be necessary.
Ken Shimmick says we can bid our fair November weather goodbye. He'll be back a little later to tell us what we'll get in return.
Up next, elderly depression. How do you define it? We'll take a look in 1 minute.
Thailand in your feed delivers a spectrum of benefits for those proudly producing pork.
The new Chrysler Cirrus has an advanced 24-valve V6. Its cab-forward design conveniently provides room for 5 and a vast array of new technology. It has dual airbags and advanced rail-through construction for superior handling and quietness. Chrysler Cirrus. While its name is derived from the heavens, one of the best reasons to own one is very down to earth. Chrysler Cirrus.
Not far from your home, there's a place you can count on for low prices, day in and day out.
Your Lincoln Walmart is celebrating the upcoming holiday season with savings to fit any budget. This Thanksgiving weekend from 7 a.m. to noon on Saturday, November 26th, a portion of all sales will be donated to a local charity. So come join us and save while helping Walmart help others.
Walmart. Always low prices. Always Walmart.
On Saturday, 10/11 News will take a look at depression in the elderly in a special Seniors Today report.
Tonight, we give you a brief preview as Amy Hybels takes a look at how depression affects seniors today.
I can get this down one more step.
At 68 years of age, Eleanor Page is learning to take life one step at a time. Heart surgery and complications from antibiotics left Eleanor dizzy and unable to care for herself or her 15-year-old disabled daughter, Charla. Looking back, Eleanor says the decision to place her adopted daughter in a nursing home sent her into a deep depression.
You get depressed and you cry a lot.
Specialists in geriatric medicine say although depression is common in older Americans, it's often misdiagnosed. Depression generally falls into one of two categories. A reactive depression is usually characterized by a sense of loss. Contributing factors could include the death of a spouse or loved one, retirement, declining health, a relocation, or decreased level of income. Psychiatrists say a roller coaster of moods usually accompany reactive depressions.
They'll be down in the dumps when they think of the loss. They'll be feeling their normal selves, or even can be mildly euphoric if they are distracted.
Those suffering from metabolic forms of depression, which are chemically based, often experience an onset of the illness in late adolescence. A reoccurring cycle of depression, significant weight loss or gain, sleep disorders, fatigue, and a loss of interest in usual activities.
They just withdraw from their usual pursuits and activities, and in the worst sense, they are immobilized and just sit, vegetate.
Dr. Osborne comments the treatment of depression today is both available and effective. And while some may be able to work through a depression on their own, statistics indicate the rate of suicide increases among the elderly. A good reason to pay attention to any form of depression which consistently interferes with daily life. Amy Heibels, 1011 News.
You can learn more about the elderly and depression Saturday at 5 o'clock in a Seniors Today special report. Well, the weather the last few days has been hard to beat. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s have made this November a delight.
They have, but try as he might, Ken can't stop winter from coming. He returns with his look at a cooler forecast next.
Take a look at the all-new Ford Windstar and discover all kinds of advantages over Dodge Grand Caravan, like more passenger and cargo room. Advantage Windstar. Free 24-hour roadside assistance. Advantage Windstar. Standard safety features that already meet 1998 guidelines, including dual airbags, four-wheel anti-lock brakes, and 5-mile-per-hour bumpers. Advantage Windstar. But don't just take our word for it. Take a test drive and see for yourself. Ford gives you every advantage. Windstar. The future of minivans is here today at your local Ford dealer.
Gift for every member of the family at Target, including Cool Runnings, the comedy about the Jamaican bobsled team with John Candy, and Tombstone with Kurt Russell. 2 hits from Buena Vista Home Video, only $12.75.
Time for magic.
Something is happening in homes across America. PrimeStar, the new mini-dish satellite service, is making hours of family entertainment available to anyone, all with digital quality audio and video. Even better, PrimeStar is a complete service. There's no equipment to buy or maintain. And all of it, including programming, can be yours starting at about $1 a day. All you have to do is call 1-800-PRIME-STAR.
Weather forecasters are keeping close tabs on the unpredictable and so far deadly progress of Tropical Storm Gordon. The storm, which has already killed more than 100 people, spun a deadly twister last night, which devastated this trailer park on Florida's east coast. A powerful reminder of the severity and swiftness of Mother Nature. As we mentioned at 6 o'clock, things are improving. Weather conditions are improving for folks in Florida as the energy from Gordon continues to drift to the north, but the problem with Gordon is going to be once it moves out on the warm coastal waters of the Atlantic once again, there is a threat that Gordon may strengthen. So forecasters certainly in this part of the country are going to be watching Gordon very, very closely over the next 12 to 24 hours. 24-hour satellite loop. As it starts out, you're going to see an absence of cloud cover, but as the day wears on across Nebraska and northern Kansas, the clouds kind of filled in, and that's where we're at right now, with a lot in the way of cloud cover, although not much in the way of moisture to speak of. Here's a look at the current situation down at the surface. We have clouds continuing to increase across much of Nebraska and northern Kansas, still basically dominated by high pressure. You can see the clear skies all the way from the Great Lakes back into the south central sections of the country, but clouds ahead of this weather system continue to increase. This area of low pressure and frontal system will move into our area, and that'll change our weather pattern. over the next 12 to 24 hours. Just how significant, we'll let you know in just a little bit. Right now, U.S. radar picking up some very heavy precipitation along the east coast and also some scattered light precipitation for the most part now across Florida. We're still high and dry, but there is some rain and snow associated with this system, and in fact the higher elevations of the central Rockies could stand to look at 6 to 12 inches of snow from this approaching storm system, although we are not going to be looking at anything near that significant either in rain or snow across our area. As far as how are we doing at the top of the hour temperature-wise, well, those gusty southerly winds that you've probably been complaining about for much of the day are keeping our temperatures really mild for this time of the day, this time of the year. Readings are in the mid to upper 40s in many locations, but we've got that gusty south wind at 15 still, at times over 30 miles per hour. We're still at 49 in North Platte, 46 degrees in Grand Island. In the capital city, we have 48 and cloudy skies. The barometer is falling. The relative humidity is 49%, and there's that gusty southerly wind still a howling at 17 miles an hour. We hit 57 today, which is pretty good considering we had the state low temperature this morning out at the Lincoln Airport of 17 above. In Grand Island, a little bit milder overnight low of 31, and we warmed to 56 this afternoon. Just about everybody was above normal once again over central and eastern Nebraska and northern Kansas, with temperatures easily into the 50s. We're going to see a significant cool down now over the next couple of days, although some folks in eastern Nebraska will still see a pretty mild day tomorrow. That won't last much longer. The frontal system will be moving across the area ahead of the front. Gusty southerly winds, some scattered showers, mainly light rain, and mild temperatures as we were mentioning. But as the front goes through your area, you're going to pick up a north and northwest wind. You could see a couple of scattered sprinkles or a shower or two, but cooler conditions with temperatures in the west holding in the 40s. In fact, in the Panhandle, we may not get out of the 30s. The heavy snow will fall off to our west and then up across the Dakotas. We won't be looking at any kind of significant snowfall from this storm system anywhere in Nebraska or northern Kansas, but it will set the stage for a cooler weather pattern that will continue for the rest of the week. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies, gusty southerly winds. Temperatures will remain mild for overnight lows, 35 to 45 degrees. In fact, we'll hold right around 40 in both Lincoln and Grand Island. Tomorrow, west will certainly be cooler than they were today. Folks in eastern Nebraska will still be on the mild side, but gusty southerly winds, some scattered light rain under mostly cloudy skies, and maybe some snow falling in the far west. We should top out at 55 in Lincoln, 54 in Grand Island, but those temperatures will be falling certainly by tomorrow night. The front is through the entire area by Friday. Much cooler under partly sunny skies. Temperatures could hold in the upper 30s over much of northern and western Nebraska. Will be in the mid to upper 40s over south and eastern portions of the state. Your outlook is Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Saturday, some light snow possible in the west. Then a mix of precipitation possible on Sunday with the next storm system that could linger into the first part of next week. Mel and Deb?
Thank you, Ken. Still to come, Steve Van Hoosen reports on a court battle between Danny Nee's roundball squad and a team of visiting Russians.
President Clinton is on an overseas trip of his own. We'll tell you where he is and why.
A look at seniors today, brought to you in part by Casino Omaha.
The Lifetime Health Program has been very beneficial to me. I exercise 3 times a week to increase my upper body strength, flexibility, and balance, which improves my overall health and self-esteem. I've taken a course entitled Growing Wiser, which deals with memory improvement, assertiveness, and coping with personal loss. For more information on health programs, call your local area agency on aging.
3 cheers for the red, white, and blue. Have we got a sweepstakes for you?
Enter Wheel of Fortune's red, white, and blue sweepstakes, and you could win one of 3 beautiful grand prize vehicles from Ford.
Just watch Wheel of Fortune to win.
You could win one of 200 trips for 2 to Alaska on Norwegian Cruise Lines, or win one of 700 other prizes. So watch Wheel and win.
So watch the wheel, it's a great deal.
Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 6:30 on 10/11.